Welcome to Miranda Heart to Heart. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing okay. I am really excited right now. It is a great day. It's beautiful outside. The sun is shining. And what I'm even more excited about is that we are about to exit out of 2018 and march and venture right on in to 2019. And so I'm excited about it. I don't know about y'all, but I am excited. Can y'all hear the excitement in my voice and in my facial expressions? I am excited. Okay, let me bring it down a notch, just a little bit. As we go into the video, the first thing I want to ask you guys is, what prevents you from enjoying life and enjoying the very moment that you're in? I'm going to start off by saying 2018 did not start off that great. Matter of fact, I was kind of sad. I was down. I was depressed. I was disappointed. I was overcoming a breakup. And so I just didn't feel myself. I felt like, it wasn't that great at the time. But you know what? As I end the year and I had an opportunity to just really reflect on that relationship, I had an opportunity to reflect over my life. I had an opportunity to reflect about the people around me, those that are closest to me. And I just want to say that it was a true eye-opener. It was an eye-opener. It was breathtaking, but yet refreshing at the same time, because I had an opportunity to really learn more about me. And so I want to take a moment real quick to just really emphasize to you guys to think about some of the barriers that prevent you from enjoying the moment that you're in. What prevents you from enjoying life right now, the present moment? Is it something from your past, or is it something that's stressing you out in the future? What prevents you from enjoying life right now? And I want to tell you a little bit of personal information about me. 2019 in April, I will be a registered nurse for 7 years. Yay! Congratulations to me. Whoop, 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 whoop. 7 years. Time flies when you're having fun. I don't even realize that it's been that long. But anyway, I want to say, prior to me becoming a registered nurse, my life was built around survival. Just simply surviving. And when I looked at the movie The Bird Box, there's a lot of you that said, you know what, I didn't get the point of this movie. It was stupid. I didn't like it. I didn't care for it. It was just a bunch of people walking around with blindfolds. Okay, so first of all, that 2-hour movie was very enlightening. That 2-hour movie had a lot of messages. So if you didn't get anything out of it the first time, I would highly encourage you to watch it again. And don't just look at the movie for what you're seeing right in front of you. You got to draw in some of that inferential, being able to read in between the lines and really get the bigger picture. And so one of the things that comes to mind, even with that movie, The Bird Box, is, and a lot of us get hung up on and prevents us from enjoying life, is the day-to-day struggle. The survival mode, being able to make ends eat from day to day. And so prior to me becoming a nurse, I was a single mom, and I struggled. Sometimes I was in relationships, and sometimes I had help, and sometimes I was not. So I struggled with the day-to-day of being able to take care of my daughters by myself. I struggled with having to juggle going to work and going to school. And nursing school is very intense. It's one of the most intense careers that you can get into. Anything in healthcare, whether it's nursing, becoming a physician, a dentist, those are all some very intense studies. And so it's very time consuming. It requires a lot. It drains a lot out of you mentally and physically, and even emotionally. And so I was on a survival mode because I spent a lot of time having to take care of responsibility by myself while trying to take care of the now and prepare for a future. And so I didn't get an opportunity sometimes to enjoy life. I spent a lot of times in my room, in my four walls, studying. My girls would say, they would be trying to talk to me, and I'd be like, you guys gotta be quiet, you just gotta be quiet, you just gotta be quiet, because my head was so focused on the book. So I was doing a care plan, or I was preparing for a test, I was doing something related to school in my free time. That's what consumed my free time. So my life consisted more about survival. And so a lot of us get hung up on survival because we're stressed out about our finances. We're stressed out about the demands and our roles in life, being a mother, being a daughter, being a sister. The role that you play can prevent you from enjoying life sometimes. So those are one of the barriers that prevent us from enjoying life, is that survival mode. But one thing about 2018 was like a self-discovery for me. I was, oh my God, being able to end 2018 versus how it began, it's just so refreshing. I just want you to get that part. It's refreshing. And being able to go into exiting from survival mode into self-discovery mode, and really acknowledging my past, being able to accept my past, being able to let go. Hey, and that was another key point. I am one of those people that sometimes I hang on to stuff. It's hard for me to let go. And how many of you are like that? Put that in the comment section. Put in the comment section 2 things so far. What are some of the barriers that prevent you from enjoying life right now? What are some of the barriers that prevent you from enjoying the very moment that you're in? That's 1. Number 2, are you one of those people that have a hard time letting go? I know I have been, but I have been making a conscious effort and decision to, you know what, just let it go. Let it be. Don't stress out. Don't stay hung up on something. Let it go. Like that song says, you gotta let it go. Okay, I can't sing, so I'm not even gonna try. But anyway, those was one of my downfalls, is being quicker to let things go and not hold on to things. And so again, 2018 was just like refreshing to me because it was an eye-opener to me. And so I want to talk about some of those barriers that prevent you from enjoying life right now. And so one of the first things I want to talk about is relationships. Relationships. That is like the topic of discussion no matter where we're at. Whether you're at work, in the beauty shop, the barber shop, you're at the mall hanging with your girlfriends, you're out at the club with your fellas, family functions, we all talk about relationships, right? And so those are some of the barriers that prevent us from enjoying life right now, though, is if we're overcoming a breakup, if we're in a relationship or marriage that we're not happy in, if the relationship that we have with someone else is not peaches and cream, it's one of the topics of discussion, and it prevents us from enjoying life right now, right? Okay, so we're going to talk about that in just a second. Another barrier to enjoying life and enjoying the very moment that you're in are your finances, right? If you're not able to go shopping when you want to, if you're not able to go out to eat when you want to, if you're not able to be able to catch that movie that you want to watch or be able to go travel like you like to, it prevents us from enjoying life, right? Okay, so let's talk about the loss of a loved one. We have all experienced loss, right? And when we say loss doesn't even always have to mean death, because it could mean the loss of a job. If you had a job at Lily's and all of a sudden you're forced to go find another job, if you had a job at a factory plant and you were making X amount of dollars and all of a sudden they cut you, and you got to think about how you can go from making $20, $30 an hour to $15. So that's a big adjustment. So loss, we all experience loss at some point, and loss can have a different meaning and come in different forms. So that prevents us from enjoying life, right? Okay, so let's go back to relationships. Let's talk about if you're single. And you're single because you had a failed relationship. Okay, so one of the things that I love that Oprah says is about failure. You never fail. You always win. Failure is an opportunity to point you in a different direction. Don't you just love that concept? That brings me life right there. So you can eliminate the thought of, I lost, I didn't win, this wasn't successful, this relationship wasn't successful, this marriage wasn't successful. Let it go. let it go, because it's not that it wasn't successful. It's not that it failed or you failed or he failed or the relationship was failed. It's an opportunity to point you in a different direction, maybe the direction that you're supposed to go instead of the direction that you were going. Maybe it was an experience that you were supposed to have for the moment, and now that you have gathered what you have learned and what you needed to take from it, you can move forward to your next relationship, bringing more value to you. How about that? And that goes from whether you're single because of a failed relationship or single because you are divorced. It's okay. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up about the marriage that didn't work. It's okay. There is someone out there who will love you for who you are. So until you meet that person, take the time to work on yourself. Take the time to love yourself. Take the time to evaluate yourself. Take the time to evaluate your own imperfections. You can't beat yourself up for it wholeheartedly, but you have to take responsibility, because we all have a role in our relationships and how they work and how they don't work. So take the time to embrace the very moment that you're in of being single and reflecting on your relationship. And also, when we think in terms of relationships, we think about the relationships we have with other people, but let's think about the relationship we have with yourself. Evaluate that. Do you love yourself? Is there anything about you that you don't like? When you look in a mirror, can you look in the mirror and say, I love you. I love everything about you. I love everything that you've gone through. And I love everything that you're able to share with someone else to help them. Can you say that honestly? When you look at another female, does it make you uncomfortable if you see somebody that you feel like is prettier than you? Does it make you feel like you're uncomfortable if you see somebody that has the body that you have, that you may want? If it makes you uncomfortable, you need to spend some time reflecting on yourself and evaluating your own self-love. Okay, so let's steer away from the relationships. Let's go to finances. When we think in terms of finances, if we're not able to shop and spend money the way we want to, we have a hard time being able to enjoy the very moment that we're in. And so I want to give you a brief example that I really took some time to not stress about. So I have a 2015 Honda Pilot. Runs wonderful. And so I noticed that there were times where I was driving that the engine sounded like it just felt like it wanted to cut off. So I took it into the Honda dealership, and they were telling me that this is an issue that they've had with some of the 2011s, the 2012s, 2013s. They said they haven't really experienced it with the 2015s. And so it had something to do with the spark plugs and something even bigger issue too, which created an expense of $3,500. Okay, so it's Christmas time, and they're telling me that most of the time they cover the expense at 90%, leave you with 10. So okay, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I just paid for my plates. Okay, so between my truck and my Malibu that my daughter drives, I paid those plates, which was about $400. And so then they were telling me about this expense that might cost me $350, and they would need my car for 4 days, and there's no replacement car. So my mouth, okay, me getting to talk, I'm trying to stay more calm though, because the me back in the day would have just started going off. So I'm trying to be more calm, more relaxed, and going with the flow, and knowing that things will work itself out. So the only thing I really said was, so you're telling me that I might have to come out of $350, and I've only had my truck for 2 years, and you're wanting me to get a rental car for 4 days on top of coming out of $350? And I simply told him, I said, if I had a BMW, I would have a replacement car. And so at the time when I purchased my Honda Pilot, I didn't get the BMW because I didn't want the price tag for a BMW. However, when I think about my monthly payments for that Honda Pilot, I probably could afford a BMW of some type. But anyway, so that's what I said to him. I said, that's quite an expensive repair. So they told me that they would have to get back with me in a few days. So I went on a Friday. They told me they would get back with me on Tuesday. So that Tuesday they hadn't called or anything. As a matter of fact, they didn't get back with me until that Thursday. But anyway, in my past, when I was in survival mode, I would have stressed about, hey, from Friday to Tuesday, oh my God, they're not going to cover this. I could have a $3,500 expense, or I could have a $350 expense on top of having to need transportation while they have my car. But you know what I did? I simply prayed. I said, God, please let them cover the bill at 100% and provide me with a replacement vehicle. And I left it alone. So that weekend, I went to a Christmas party and I had a phenomenal time. It was a great time, girl time, ladies' night, nice little Christmas gathering. And so that week, from that Friday of the previous week to the Thursday of the following week, I didn't spend any time stressing about whether or not they were going to cover that expense. I spent all of my time focusing on the now, what was going on at that moment. And so they just so happened to call me Thursday while I was at So they called me that Thursday to inform me that they would cover the expense at 100% and that they would provide a replacement vehicle. So instead of me having to come out of $3,500 or $350 and provide myself with transportation while they have my vehicle, it all worked out. And so as I said before, I could have spent time stressing and allowing anxiety to take over, but instead I simply chose to enjoy the moments that I was in. And while I was waiting for their phone call, I didn't focus on what could be. I focused on what was taking place in my life right then, whether it was at the Christmas party, whether it was at work taking care of my patients, whether I was at home spending time with my daughters while they're on break. I spent time just focusing on the now and not the anxiety of what could be, the expense that could take place and what would take place after that. I didn't stress about that. So let's go into loss. When we think of loss, and as I said, when we think of loss, loss can come in various forms. We can lose a loved one by death. We can experience loss through the loss of a job. Say, for instance, you had a job at Lily's, or you had a job at a factory plant, or you just a change in finances. It's always a beautiful thing when we're going up, right? It's always a beautiful thing when we're going up. But if for some reason we experience a loss of a job or changes in finances and we're going down the financial bracket instead of going up because of a job letting us go or a job laying us off or changing our title, and which changes our finances and what we're able to bring home each week or bi-weekly or monthly, however you get paid, that type of loss we think as a negative. But if you turn that around and look at that as an opportunity to figure out how you can do something to either add more supplemental income, more passive income, more residual income, other ways, it's not necessarily a loss. It's an opportunity to point you in a different direction, like I said in the beginning of the video. An opportunity to point you in a different direction. How can you have revenue coming in from more than one source, if that's the case? Okay, when we think of loss, when we think about the loss of a loved one, we all will experience death at some point, having someone closest us that passes on. It's not a great feeling at all. My cousin passed last year, who I was very close with. He was a very integral part to my growth and me being able to finish nursing school. He was one of those people that I could call on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon if I needed something, and I could call him at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, hey cuz, this situation ain't right, can you come get me? And he'd be there. And so when he died last year in 2017, I took that really hard. It was very hard for me when he died, and then even thereafter. And in 2018, when July 2018 came around, and I was going through a period around the time when he died, lack of sleep, I was thinking about his death, and it just really, really hit me hard. And even though I'm a registered nurse and I have been around and been there for patients when life begins, which is a beautiful thing. I've actually been able to witness a live birth during my clinical. I've actually been able to start an IV on a patient while they were in the middle of having a contraction. I know that sounds crazy, right? Because when you think of contractions, especially if you're a male, you're like, all you think about is a woman hollering because they're in a lot of pain, okay? So they're coaching her through the breathing exercises to help her with her pain, and I'm in the middle of starting her IV, and I had a phenomenal teacher who was there coaching me, and I was able to get her on the first stick. So those of us that are in nursing, that was a good thing. That was a good thing. So it was a great experience, but I've been able to experience and witness when life begins, and I've been able to experience and witness when life ends, which is not so pleasant sometimes. And so, you know, when we think about the loss of a loved one, there's no time frame on how long it takes to overcome the sadness. And when we think about that cliche, that saying that says time heals all wounds, I don't agree with that. Time does not heal all wounds. Time teaches you how to better cope, right? Okay, can we say that's fair? I think so. So time teaches you how to better cope with loss when you're thinking about the loss of a loved one. And so what prevents us from living life and enjoying the now can be relationships, our finances, dealing with the loss of a loved one, or dealing with the loss of a job, or dealing with the loss of, you know, there's many forms of different losses. So what prevents you from enjoying life right now? What prevents you from, when your kids come up to you and they want to talk to you and you're kind of listening to them, but you're kind of phased out because your mind is in a different direction? What prevents you from doing that? Because you know what? Your kids are going to get old one day. They're not going to want to be bothered with you as much. So if they're still young, embrace it right now. Enjoy the moment right now. If you have toddlers and they're wanting you to play with them, instead of whooshing them away to the side, take the time to play with them. And what prevents you from doing that? What prevents you when you're at a party, or if you're at a wedding and you're supposed to be happy and you're not? What prevents you from being able to enjoy and embrace the experience that you're feeling right now? Is it because of something of your past that you need to let go? Or is it because of a stress in the future that you're embracing more than the moment that you're in right now? So what I want you to take from this video is take the time. And I don't believe that there's a list of things that you need to do to be able to enjoy the moment right now. I believe that you just simply need to make a conscious effort to be present. Don't just be physically present in a situation or circumstance, but be there mentally, physically, and emotionally so that you can enjoy right now. Live life right now. Don't let yesterday stop you from enjoying today. Don't allow the stresses of tomorrow prevent you from experiencing the joy of right now. Right now. There's no better time to enjoy life and enjoy the now than right now. So if you guys like the content in this video, please like the video. If you like it, share it on your social media. Help promote my channel, y'all. So if you like it, go ahead and hit that share button. Log into Facebook and it will post to your page. Comment. Don't just listen. And I hope you guys got a lot out of this video. I hope you did. And if you did, comment in the comment section. Let me know what inspired you the most, what prevents you from enjoying life right now. What are some of the things that you need to let go? What are some of the things that you need to incorporate in your life to allow you to have more joy in your life right now? Until the next video, as always, love yourself and love each other. Take care.